Welcome to Shelflife 53. Holy moly, that's a lot of shelf lives. So, is it getting rotten yet? I think it was an afterthought, the idea of shelf life being like a expiration date when originally it was like thug life, shelf life. So, it's kind of got two meanings now. We have our tea once again because it is later. It is Sunday. And we're going to be talking about books and things I've been reading and things coming up. It's the end of the year. We are in the throes of holiday time. So take a break, sit back, and join me as we chat about books. We're going to do another deep breath. I think we're supposed to do a sip at the top of the inhale. There we go. All right. So today we're going to be talking about this stack of books. I strategically put them like this so I can talk about them one at a time. I also have my notes. And I don't think this one's going to take too long, but it's going to be packed. It's going to be dense. First of all, last week I forgot to mention my excitement that this is part of the book haul. I didn't get a bunch of books in the mail. Last week I got a whole bunch of books. I ordered a bunch of books. And last week I forgot to say that, of course, I immediately pre-ordered the 30th anniversary of Infinite Jest. That should be coming out in February from Little Brown or someone else. I had it written down somewhere last week and I forgot to say it because my notes were a terrible mess. But Infinite Jest will be coming soon. But I don't plan on reading that immediately. I also have The Tunnel coming next year at some point, whenever that gets released. So I'll have Infinite Jest. I'll have The Tunnel. And I think in a couple years in the future, it's going to be like this is supposed to be the year of the plow. Don't get hung up on every word. But I think in the future, we're going to be doing a year of the reread. And The Tunnel and Infinite Jest are definitely on there. I'm probably going to want to reread Gravity's Rainbow at some point. That'd be 3. What would the other 2 be? If I had to reread some books right off the cuff, what would I pick? What would I pick? Everyone's looking. What would it be? I don't know. Gravity's Rainbow, obviously. I think all the good stuff is over here. The Stranger. The Stranger, definitely. And Solenoid. I'm definitely going to reread Solenoid. But I don't know. I think Solenoid doesn't require it doesn't necessitate such a quick reread the way Infinite Jest would or Gravity's Rainbow or The Tunnel. I don't think Solenoid would be in there, but I think it would be more enjoyable. I have other stuff to get to first before we're digging into rereads. Let me get a good half a decade before we start really concentrating on rereads. But I'm excited for another copy of Infinite Jest. Let's see. So I started reading Faust with my wife. I skipped. Normally when I read things, especially stuff that is like historical or classical or very academic, I have a bad habit, but also a very, not revolutionary, anti-authoritarian attitude of I'm not reading any of the intro, I'm not reading any of the preface or any of that. Not interested, don't bog me down. We're going to get to the first page where the author is going to talk to me. If I want more detail or I'm really confused, we can go and read the intro before. But I've had a book spoiled before because I've read an intro. So I am weary of all the nonsense before and after the main text that I'm looking for. So started immediately with part 1. And we read just a couple pages. The dedication, I thought that was absolutely beautiful and beautifully written. Dedication to the dead and how it was very deep. reading a dedication for the souls that will read when the author is gone. I like that kind of stuff. Um, and then I read the prelude to the stage, and then I was trying to break the spine here, right? I was trying to pull, and the paper just literally it popped out of my hand. Like that is a stress fracture right there. That's from tension. There's no tensile strength to this Oxford World's Classics. I don't know if just my hands are super duper strong that day. I was really feeling it, or this is subpar paper. But I'm guessing, Oxford Unity Press. It's probably for students. So I don't know, but kind of just literally right where I wanted to grab it, popped out. But I was saved. None of the printed media was compromised at all. So the prelude to the stage, it's a conversation between the director, a poet, and a clown. And I thought it was interesting the general attitudes of those three characters. The clown, strangely being the most thoughtful and introspective of the three. The poet is kind of like the Daria of the scene, and the director is just like, can we please get it together? He's like the parent of all this, but you also don't trust him. You think he just wants to entertain for the sake of money. Then it goes to the prologue of heaven. We are talking with the angels in heaven, and God apparently is a gambling man with Mephistopheles, who he has the classical attitude of the devil. Like, who, me? The world's already a mess. I'm not doing anything. And yeah, it's just like the ultimate like devil tale. And we just stopped right there on page. We stopped on page 12, started on page 3. So now we were going to read from the first part of Tragedy, Night, chapter 4 to chapter 5, outside of the town hall. So that's page 27. So 15 to 27. Me and my wife, buddy read. We're going to just chop this up bit by bit. And we, like, just sitting and talking with my wife about this is bringing us closer, and like exploring literature with your partner, very rewarding. Very rewarding. So this is fun. Put that over there. Then we have Hubert Selby Jr.'s Last Exit to Brooklyn, coming off the tail end of Lispector's Aqua Viva, which was holy moly. That was holy moly again. That was an incredible read, and that was like, this is what I like. Okay, between Last Exit to Brooklyn and Agua Viva, I'm starting to see there is a gritty kind of niche even within this literary broaderness sphere that I found myself in. Whereas there's like there's like the Thomas Pynchon, Don DeLillo, conspiracy, paranoia, government, truth side of things. But then there's the Celine War, Hubert Selby Jr., Satin Tango, Agua Viva, like dark gloom core. And I'm starting to see this divide. Does anybody else recognize this in like a very niched literary world? Because like I'm starting to see, even in like the small kind of literature that I like, I don't even know what this is or what I'm talking about, but I'm getting a more focused solenoid. That would be another example of this niche grit, grime, terror. Like, I don't know. But coming off of Aqua Viva, this was perfect. And I also, I don't know if this was intentional, but this book reminded me a lot of a modern day, more violent and real and American Dubliners. It's a number of stories in Brooklyn in the 60s, I think. I don't know. And it's all about like street life. and it's striking. Last week, I had just started this part on the strike, and if you guys are long watchers of this channel, you'll know that I too was in a strike this year, and had I read this book, um, without that knowledge, I would have thought it would have been some romanticized version of the way things are. But reading this post living a strike, it is startling how accurate the behavior is with people in mobs, and it's startling how quickly you can get sucked into this. I haven't read that book Ordinary Men that a lot of like military people talk about, where like a police force was turned into like horrific super Nazis. But I could definitely see how people are quickly turned into animals. This book, like it even has all the lingo, so I don't know if Selby Jr. just researched this really well or lived it or what, but this was spot on, and it was kind of crazy to see the old Union days uh live this year. The same vocabulary, the same sneaky tactics from both sides, the same fear and fear mongering, and the same propaganda. Totally totally relatable in this strike part. And then the strike part just turns into an absolute personal mess, which was not relatable, but very interesting nonetheless. Then it went to, I think there was a couple more short stories, and it's like they're all short stories, but they all kind of link together, kind of like Dubliners. Land's End, which is another subset of like this whole book in one, I don't know, 80 pages, where it's like those same meshing of stories, but it's in just one large housing project. And if I could put a general theme over the entire novel, it's going to give you that feeling of, oh, that's terrible. That, whether it be the living conditions of children, the attitude of people who are in a caring position, the lack of empathy and kindness in society, and you just see like no hope, all fear and survival in Brooklyn. And it was an exceptional read, and I found it very enjoyable. Some books that I've read for this channel have been, okay, let's get it done for the end of the month so we can wrap this up. This one, I was glad I wrapped it up for the end of November, but I found it very enjoyable. I could watch TV. Like, it wasn't one of those books where I need everything quiet and I need to really focus. It was, while it was stimulating, it was also enjoyable and entertaining. So it's like I could bring it with me wherever. I could read a page. I wouldn't be lost. Really good. Really good. Read it. So I finished that today. Really slammed. I think I did like 100 pages or so yesterday. That was nice. I didn't annotate or anything because I knew annotation time was coming. Let's see. I'm gonna cross this off now. Hubert Subba Jr. talked about the Spectre. What has this reading been like? I explained that. Oh, that's terrible. That's gonna be the name of this episode. Oh, that's terrible. That's what Last Exit to Brooklyn was like. Oh, that's terrible. Like, oh man, gruesome. Not gruesome, but just like, why'd you have to punch that person? Like, and then off we went. It's stuff like that. It's like, oh, just the violence and reality of life. It's like watching the safari, but with people. Oh, and also the last line was very poetic. Abraham slept. And that kind of felt like there was a character, Abraham, but also it felt biblical, as in Abraham when he woke up, and kind of that's the beginning of the kingdom and Exodus and the whole thing. Abraham slept is kind of like no God, no hope, no salvation in the city, like filth and animals. Like, oh, brutal. So, we discussed that. Then we're going to, let's see. Shelflife. So, Mason and Dixon. I'm holding off to talk about Mason and Dixon because I want to finish that. Let's see. Oh, I have something. There's another gentleman who, something rolling, who also does booktube, bookstagram, book talk stuff. Read red. My apologies. He recently did a video about going analog and not recording everything that you read through an app. And he made a very good point that you can't check off certain chunks of a book, like a collection of a short story. You can't just check that off. It's like you do the whole thing or not. And that has dissuaded him from choosing a book. And I was like, a blind spot. And nailed it, because I have a collection of short stories that my dad gave me, and I've been holding that off because it's like, oh, well, I have this goal and that goal in the end of the year. And it's like nonsense, arbitrary. You need to read Kafka's The Hunger Artist. It's only 8 pages long. And I haven't been doing it because how am I going to put it into Storygraph or Goodreads or whatever? Annoying. So excellent point. And I will be doing the same and going to the notebook. I have 1.5 trillion notebooks. I record too many lists, but I think I really do need to start trusting the old Codex Folio technology and write down my own things. Trust the pen. There. Now I can talk about, I can put this away. I can put that away. I can take a sip of this. It was so hot before, and now it's right at the arc of like, this is not enjoyable. Like the optimum heat we've missed. Oh well. So tomorrow I start a group read of Mason and Dixon, Thomas Pynchon's 1997 novel, which is the second of what would be considered late Pynchon. And it is set in the 1760s, 70s, 80s, somewhere. It's a whole bunch of different time zones, but it's early America, and it's in that in-between stage of Revolutionary War's over, no Constitution, what's going on. So it's in that, but it's being retold from the future. It's also written in the vernacular of that said time, so it might get a little wonky. This is my 5th Pynchon. I think I've said this before. And with every Pynchon, Year of the Plow, we're just going to read it because we're not going to be scared of words because we can speak English and we can figure it out later. So just experience the Pynchonianness. And that's what I've done so far with Pynchon. But this one, with being a group read and taking it very seriously, I also got The Companion. I didn't know if this was going to be any good, but after trying to use the wiki companion for Gravity's Rainbow Online, I found that to be tiresome and tedious. So I just bit the bullet, and hey, scholarly people have said, oh, get a companion book. And I'm like, is that really necessary? I'm smart enough. Wow, what help. And in that group thread that everyone's talking about, they all started talking about Voltaire's Candide, Candide, like, I don't know how to pronounce this, but I think everyone just kind of did a quick buddy read of this, or they like just reread it. Mine has all these like cool old pictures. Like, what is that? The Rescue of the Baron. Dude, I remember this. This was sick. It just has like all these old woodcuts. The toilets of the Pope's daughter. Oh man, this is gnarly. I think I'm going to take some of these pictures and post them tomorrow randomly. Oh, that's gnarly. Greek physicians of the first. Oh man. But this was probably, I don't know much about this even right now. I would have to look this up again. But I remember reading this. This was like one of my first, I just picked this up off the shelf. Like it was a bunch of the Barnes and Noble classics just sitting on a table, and I remember being like, I should read more. I don't know about stuff, and I just picked it up and I got this and like the Man Sailing Around the World Alone. I threw that book out. I should actually get that and read it again, or actually read it. But this was like my first random. I'm gonna read this random book, and it was hysterical and doable and a classic, and I felt good about reading it. It's only like 130 pages. This will be in the reread pile. But everyone was talking about this, and they're like, "What cover? What edition do you have?" Here's mine. I thought I lost it. But today we started Mason and Dixon, and because I lost my bookmark, but I know exactly where I am because I'm doing this slowly, and I think we're not going to rush for the month. We're not going to do like the shot and throw 1 month. Get it all out of the way quick. It's going to be a slow burn. I'm treating it like a slow burn, and Chris from Leaf by Leaf, he did a video on annotation, and he has like a threefold, and this isn't even with the tabs, he has like a threefold method of being very studious and what have you, because he writes reviews. Oh, also, I started a Substack, and that kind of fixed my problem. I didn't know if I was going to do real deep reviews on this channel because it would be kind of like a spoiler, and it would take away the fun of doing this shelf life thing. So to get my writing chops up, I have a Substack now where I'm going to be putting up like I put up old haikus that I did. I did the first published poems that I have. And this is where I'm going to start trying my chops at doing book reviews. So anyone who wants to read it, I can be like, go to my Substack. I did an actual review. There will be spoilers, but there it is in a safe place where if you click on it and you spoil it for yourself, you kind of walked into it. So because I want to do that, I want to have notes. And Mason Dixon is kind of like the perfect, like, all right, we're going to take Pynchon serious this time and actually not get halfway through and be like, I should have done a character map. But the way that I'm going about this, because I would be very disorganized in the past with like highlighter or just writing with my pen with what I got, I'm going to steal Chris's technique where first I'm going to have the book speak to me, and if I see something, I'm going to highlight it. I might have dialogue with myself, but that's not time for the conversation. It's time to listen with the highlighter. Come back with the highlighter. Then when you're done with initial reading, go back with your pen, and you could write a little comment in the margins, wherever, so that way you're getting a second, oh, this is what I'm talking about, and then write it down in your reading journal, important things, any themes you have, whatnot. And classically with Pynchon, you're going to get lost and be like, wait a minute. This is my first time reading with a companion, and I can already tell that this is worth its weight in gold. It has explained so much to me already. I am not lost. This is fun, and it's opening up doors to understanding, and I cannot wait to reread, like I was talking beforehand, with all of the companion materials. Like going that deep is going to be fun. Just like I'm 20 pages into this with this, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. So I am very excited about reading it with the companion. Also, there's a podcast. I'll have to shout them out. But there is a podcast that also follows Mason and Dixon and actually goes through all the Pynchons, hunks of chapters by hunks of chapters. So just doing everything at once. Oh my God, there is a humongous spider right over there. He is huge. And the way he goes, oh my God. Man. Well, I think that's it. Guys, it's easy. Big guy. Like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later, and we will discuss Thomas Pynchon, and we will be discussing the other books, Nicomachean Ethics. I'll try to take a bite out of that, and Atlas Shrugged. Ayn Rand, she's going to have to wait. I might read like 5 or 10 pages from her just to stay fresh. But it's easy enough where I could just stay involved and uninvolved all at the same time. Where did that guy go? He was humongous. I'm going to go find him because I'm no longer alone. Like and subscribe. Love you. Happy December. Out.